Chapter 10, Deep Below. You and your party are trapped in the crypts beneath Zaradun. The dead have risen all around you. You consider this a regular amount of haunted? I may have understated things. You think? There's only a handful of ancients in here. Ancients? Ancestors, dead, you know. Well, I mean, they're supposed to be dead, but point is, they're old. We can take them. Damn right we can. Imtori draws her axes as Chirta flings out a hand. The ancient is suddenly lifted off its feet and smashed into the wall by some kind of invisible force. Was that magic? Obviously. Then why is it Can we talk about this later? As the others leap into the fray, you rush at the nearest ancient. It lunges at you, it lets out a terrifying shriek. Shove a bomb in its mouth? Let me pass through it. Sure, we'll do a bomb. Reach into the usher's pouch and pull out one of the glowing bombs. The colors swirling inside, promising a fiery destruction. Eat this. You shove it into the creature's maw, slam its dusty jaw shut, and dive out of the blast zone. Even though we don't really know how big that's gonna be, but, you know, I digress. An earth-shattering explosion rocks the crypt, taking out two other ancients and sending bits of bone raining down around you. An unconventional application, but I think Uster would understand. I could use a hand over here. You whip around to see Tyrrell, back pressed up against the wall as a group of ancients claw him with their own bony fingers. Fire springs to his hands, melting the undead's flesh into a papery ash, but it's barely enough to keep them back. Hold on, Tyrrell. Your gaze leaps to a metal statue lined up against the wall. It towers over you, nearly scraping the ceiling, even without its head, and you recall the suit of armor that came to life in the royal archives. It may not have a head, but it does have a weapon. You pull out the animation medallion from your bag and hold it up in front of the statue. Work already, but the medallion remains still and cold in your hand. Come on, medallion, there's a really cool thing to possess right over there. Nothing happens. Please? The medallion flashes, because all it needed was please, and the statue steps off its pedestal, raising its weapon with a thunderous creaking groan. Help, my friends. The statue lumbers toward the ancients attacking Tyrrell and cleaves straight through one of them with its mighty greatsword. It strikes at the rest of the undead surrounding Tyrrell, cutting them down with brutal ease. As the last of the ancients around Tyrrell collapse, the glowing inside the armor fades and it falls inert. Tyrrell stumbles over to you. What happened? Maybe possessing something that big took all of its energy? You hear a low growl and spot another ancient crawling out of its crypt only inches from Tyrrell. Too bad there's still more of them. I should yank it away from Tyrrell, throw a rock at it, tackle it. I'm gonna throw a rock. A bag of bones. You snatch up a rock from the crypt floor and fling it at the creature's head. It smashes into the ancient's brittle skull, and breaking it apart, and the creature collapses. Quick thinking. Chirta, behind you! An ancient drags Chirta backwards, only to be torn apart by a glowing blast of Nia's light. Chirta shields her eyes, wincing. Whoa! You just make light? How? But then a fresh wave of undead is pouring in from a nearby passageways, closing in around you. Whoever or whatever has caused this has no respect for the dead. Listen, I'm not feeling very respectful right now either. They want us dead. Perhaps they're just inviting us to join them by dying. Ancients drive you into the center of the room, a sea of writhing corpses on all sides. Imtori's axes cleave through the couple of creatures, trying to carve out a path, but the gaps are rapidly filled, leaving no escape in sight. Chirta, what do we do? I don't know. There are hundreds of ancients down here. There's no way we can beat that many. One lunges at you, its bony fingers digging in your arm. You shove it away, only for another to spring at you, jaw snapping. This is bad. I know what to do. Mal darts forward in the creature's crowd of undead. He weaves through them, only to slam his body into a stone column in the middle of the chaos. What do you... He pulls back and rams his shoulder into it again. This time the ceiling above him cracks and gives a violent shudder. Mal, get out of it! The ceiling's about to collapse! That's the point! With one final slam, the crack splinters, spraying out through the entire room. The pieces above Mal stay locked into place, but the rest... Look out! Colossal chunks of rubble and rock topple around you, slamming it into the ground with a devastating force. I've got you. Imtora grabs a massive stone door to one of the dwarven vaults. She hefts it in the air for the rest of you to shelter beneath, her knuckles straining as she grits her teeth. But before Nia can duck beneath it, a large chunk of rock smashes into her head. Great. Good teamwork. Nia! She staggers back, clutching the wound as blood seeps from between her fingers, and shadow begins to creep into her eyes. You rush to her side without thinking, shielding her from the view of the rest of the party as debris falls all around you. You have to come back to me. Pick up her face and lean close, pressing your forehead to hers. Let me go. I'll kill you. No, you won't. I know you won't. Come back to me, Nia. I'm here. I'll always be here. Slowly, the darkness seems to fade from her. She shudders and collapses in your embrace, hiding her face briefly against your shoulder. Thank you. I thought I was alone. Never. Never again. The dust around you settles, and while the rubble did bury some of the ancients, there's still more left. Barely have time to help Nia to her feet before an ancient is on top of you, his jaws snapping closed, inches from your face. You know, these guys are really annoying. Throw it back into its tomb, break its legs, rip off its head. Grab its top and bottom jaws, tugging desperately at the creature's head, but all it does is bite down. You know, you'd figure for a creature that is made just of bone, that wouldn't have happened. Rain! Tyrell leaps forward and beheads the creature with one gleaming strike of his sword. Drive the rest into the center of the room. Once they're surrounded, we can take them out. Using the stone slab like a shield, Imtora shoves the creature's back while Church's strange invisible magic pushes the rest. That's nearly all of them. His wall of light springs up around them, keeping them contained before Tyrell drops an enormous fireball in the center, burning the mummies to ash. You stand frozen, listening for any sign of more undead. When everything remains quiet, you all gratefully sink to the floor. I'm sorry, I probably should have warned you, but I was worried you wouldn't have come if you knew. 2 minutes ago, you said there were hardly any ancients down there. Around a decade ago, the ancients started rising from their graves, so the elders sealed it off. Is anyone hurt? Just Nia, I think. You reach for Nia's face and gently brush her bangs back from the wound. That looks nasty. Hold still. Remembering what Nia taught you, you concentrate on knitting the injury together, and soon there's only a smooth skin where the ugly cut had been. There. How's that? So much better, thank you. I'm so sorry, Nia. I didn't mean to... You could have... killed us all. What the hells were you thinking? I just thought... No, Mal, you didn't think. You were too focused on your not-at-all heroic death wish. Look, I know everyone's having big feelings right now, but any chance we could, you know, do this after we've recovered from nearly dying? You guys can rest. I'd rather prefer not to barge into another wall of mummies. I'm gonna check out the nearby rooms for stragglers. I'll come. I know it's dangerous, but I want to see more of this place. It's even older than Undermount. Nia, you just got hurt. You should be resting. I'm fine. You healed me, but if you're really that worried, you could always come with. This is your chance to spend time with them. Right behind you. You walk into the next room with Nia and Mtora. There's no movement, just a tomb filled with dead, dried flowers and clay pots. These must be offerings, little gifts to those who have passed on. Though it looks like there's been a long time since anyone has been able to come down here, if those flowers are anything to go by. Cherta did say this place had been sealed up for a decade. Do you think all the people buried in this room are related, or... I'm not sure. Normally I'd expect to see names on each of the tombs, but they're all blank, no runes or protection, nothing. Are people expected to memorize where their loved ones are buried then? It might be that just after the burial, people don't come to visit at all, and these offerings are just from the original ceremony. That is all very weird. She pokes at an ornate gold chinser, which turns out to be filled with coins and shiny polished bits of crystal. I don't get it. Why would anyone want to be trapped underground after they die? And with all this stuff, no less. I mean, it's not like you get to take it with you. They may believe that they can take it with them, Mtora. Offerings are just a way of honoring the dead. With gold? Money's important to the living. Giving it up for the dead is basically just saying that a person is more important than that. Orcs give gold to the ocean, after all. That's different. She can give it back whenever she wants. He studies the remains of the offerings with gentle reverence. There are so many beautiful things down here. If I had to be locked beneath the ground, it would be some small consolation. How do orcs bury their dead, Mtora? At sea, of course, so their bodies can return to the elements. Just a kelp shroud with a gold coin from everyone who loved them. And it's the same for everyone? Well, no. Celebrated commanders and their important folks are placed in a boat and set to sail. That way the ocean can decide when and how to take them. She comes for us all in her time, you know. But seriously, does everyone on land bury their dead? I mean, back in Undermount they had all the catacombs, and now these crypts. It feels like it takes up a lot of space. Some people in the Elven catacombs were cremated first. That's very common for followers of the light. We view it as a way of returning to where we came from. I've even seen ceremonies that consisted of cremation followed by the scattering of ashes at a favored or sacred place. That sounds kind of similar to what the orcs do, or has the same outcome, like you said, Mtora. Which would you prefer? What kind of question is that? You know, we're all gonna argue about it if it ever comes to, It's not gonna come to that. So, you might as well tell us what you want. I guess I'd choose a grave. Cremation. Burial, let's see. For me, I'm a big, huge Star Trek fan. I liked when Spock was sent off to the stars, and a lot of Star Trek episodes, the dead was sent off as the same. They were fired off into the stars. I think that's something that's cool, but hey, how about this? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to be out of these three, or more options. But otherwise, cremation. It's just a body at that point. I kind of like Ania's idea about being scattered someplace special. I have to admit, that does sound lovely. Is that strange? Not at all. Death is inevitable. It's important to be able to look at it and find meaning in it while we're still here. The three of you fall silent as you duck into the next room. It seems empty, but there's a soft rustling coming from the corner. Do you hear that? You peek around one of the sarcophagi and spot a ghostly skeleton feasting on a corpse. Okay. Oh, it's you again. Blood drips from its mouth to stain its bony chest, and your stomach turns as it takes another bite of its meal. It's a devourer! Why do Morellians have to name everything so literally? Well, they congregate in places where there are a lot of dead bodies, like cemeteries or battlefields. It must have wandered in and gotten trapped, though it certainly doesn't seem too upset about it. This place is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. We'd better dig it out. The last thing we need is that thing sneaking up behind us. You creep around the corner of the tomb, moving quietly, but ahead of you, the devourer stops eating and sniffs the air. Suddenly it whirls on you and lets out a horrific scream. Oh, you are pretty. It dives directly at you, its blood-stained teeth gnashing as its claws tear at your clothing. I should kick it in the ribs, pry its hands off, bash it in the head with a pot. You reach out and blindly and grab the first thing you lay your hands on, a heavy clay pot. Sorry, Chirda's ancestors, gotta borrow this. You heave it up and smash it into the side of the devourer's head as hard as you can. It rears back its wide eyes, widening in confusion. The monster's puzzlement turns to rage as it reaches for you once again. Well, you'd be immediately hit by a blast of light magic, followed by a flurry of brutal swings from Mintoro's hand axes. How's that, you bony bastard? But the creature is unfazed and undamaged. Okay, that's not normal. Is it healing? No, there's no slashes, no burns. We can get close, even touch it, but we can't hurt it. She circles the creature, just barely dodging its withering grasp when it lunges for her. I can feel something magical emanating from inside it. I just can't tell where. Let me give you a hand. Mintoro rushes in, grabs it from behind, pinning its arms at its sides while it thrashes against her. There, the pendant lodged in its ribcage. A moment later, you see it, a bright blue gem in a gold setting. It pulses with magic that ebbs and flows like a heartbeat. We have to get that pendant out of its body. I'll bind the devourer in place. You concentrate, gathering the light within. You push it forward, willing it to envelop the creature and bind it in place. It freezes in place, its features twisted in silent shock. Now, Imtura. She raises an axe and cleaves the pendant from the creature's ribs. You reach out as it falls, and the pendant drops into your hands. The moment the pendant is freed, Imtura rears back and delivers the killing blow. Its skull flies off and hits the white wall, while the rest of its body crumples to the ground into pieces. Finally! I guess they aren't that hard to kill when they don't have an extra magical defense. You look down at the pendant in your hand. The pulsing is a little slower now, but it still seems to glow. It's a defense pendant. It was absorbing all of our blows so they didn't hurt the devourer. Sounds useful. So, how did the devourer get it, though, if it makes the wearer invulnerable? Being immune to blows from outside doesn't mean you're immune to blows inside, or just dying. Maybe he choked on a chicken bone and then the devourer thing found him and ate him. This is why I never adventure alone. That and our extremely entertaining company. That too. You should keep the pendant, Rain. It looks like the most magical charge has been used up, but it still could prevent you from taking a heavy hit. You never know. That could be the difference between life and death. I see what you did there. We should probably head back to the others now that we've cleared the place. And talk about her head. Of course. Imtura salutes you both and heads back the way you came. What is it? Are you okay? After what happened earlier when you almost transformed. That was scary. It was terrifying. You were hurt and you were trying to push me away. I didn't mean to. You know I'll always treasure our time together. But I'm fine, truly. You don't have to worry about me. You know you won't stop me. Or that won't stop me, right? I guess I can't fault you for that. I do the same thing with everyone else. Was that all you wanted, or... I also want a kiss. Is that so? She steps closer, sliding her hands over your shoulders as she licks her lips. We can't get too carried away, though. The place is full of cobwebs. Oh, I can fix that. Mia beams as she lights up the wall behind you with a cleansing fire. The cobwebs and dust disappear, leaving the sandstone below pristine. Nia, you don't need to use your light for that. I always use my light for you, Rain. She smiles sheepishly. May I kiss you? Please. She emits what might be the tiniest squeak of excitement, pressing you against the wall in her enthusiasm. The stone is cool against your back as you bring your hungry lips to hers, clutching her close. Oh, Rain. Her tongue glides over yours, soft and sweet. She slips her fingers around the back of your neck, stroking it softly. You aren't sure what's warmer, her or your skin, as her thumb trails along your cheek. Her touch grows more feverish, and her hands, roving desperately at time, seems to stop, leaving only the two of you and your heat and the wall. You're both breathless when you slowly, reluctantly break the kiss. Thank you. You're very welcome. Together, you make your way back up to meet with Tora and the others. You gather yourselves and push deeper into the crypts, alert to the danger of more undead. You still haven't told us why you want this amulet, Cherta, or why you needed our help in the first place. Do the elders not approve of anyone having a powerful light artifact? There's a lot the elders don't approve of. That still doesn't answer the question. Look, I'm not going to use it to hurt anyone. The reason I need it isn't important. I don't know. I don't get myself thrown in prison over an old thing, important or fun causes only. Or very expensive ones. We're risking our lives here helping you. The least you can do is tell us why. Truda lets out a heavy sigh and stares at the ground. It's for my grandmother. She's really sick. The light amulet down here should be powerful enough to heal her. Truda, we'll help you save your grandmother. That's one thing you don't have to worry about, alright? We're with you. That's... Some of the sadness melts away out of her at your words, and she squares her shoulders. I appreciate that, thank you. My grandmother has just been barely holding on for so long. I wasn't even sure I'd make it down there. And then we ended up in jail with you. This amulet has just been rotting down here, but the dead don't need it, the living do. I'm gonna guess the elders weren't a fan of you breaking and entering and grave robbing. The elders seem to think I should just sit by and watch as my grandmother dies. It always hurts to lose someone we love, Cherta, but death is a part of life. But it doesn't have to be right now. Not when I can do something about it. I think it's admirable that you are willing to risk so much for someone you love. Also an amulet that brings to life. I wonder why the ancients are alive now. Let's think about it. Plus, you have a point. Why should treasure rot away in an abandoned cave? What good is it doing anyone down here? That was not the point, Mal. I agree with... Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. No, I'm kidding. I'll agree with him, Tora, on this one. It is a part of life. We have to fight to the last. The dead don't need that stuff. I feel like Nia's a good middle ground, but I do agree with him, Tora. I agree. It's really hard between Nia and Tora, I'm going to be honest with you. So you think I should let her go? Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from, but... there will come a time when you have to say goodbye. A time when you should be there with her, rather than wasting time in a jail cell because you're looking for a solution. I do regret that. Cherta, if you don't mind me asking, you said you were doing magic earlier, but why does your magic look like that? I could hardly tell you were doing anything until the creature went flying, that is. Every dwarf I know does magic the same way. Maybe you guys are the weird ones. Your magic's so bright, it's blinding. I've only ever read about power like that. Your conversation comes to an abrupt halt as you reach a sandstone door that stretches from floor to ceiling. There's no sign of a hinge or handle, just an intricate sketch of runes that run along the rock as church's eye level. Please tell me you can read those. Kind of, but I'll need a little time to decipher them. Nia and I have some knowledge of pre-Morellian arcane runes. Perhaps we can assist. 3 mages trying to solve a puzzle. Now this I gotta see. You hang back as they all crowd around the door, leaving you and Mal alone. You put a hand on his arm. Hey, can we talk about what happened back there? I'm kicking myself hard enough as it is, Rain. Whatever that was, with you and Tyrell, is your business. I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Mal? Just leave it be, okay? We've got more important things to worry about. He stalks off, and with a sigh, you wander around the edge of the room, tipping over rubble with your boot until you see something familiar. You crouch and clear the way of dust and pebbles to reveal a lore tablet. I have to read. This looks like it's about magic, but I've never seen magic talked about this way. I love each and every one of you. This is the only reason I do this shit. I'll just take a peek. Oh boy, here we go. The true nature of magic. Magic was here before all else, and everything came from it. Perhaps a being of our world understanding gifted it to this world, or perhaps like water through a stone or snow on a high mountain, the smallest of changes grew into something much bigger. We will never know, for no one who has lived can remember it. Magic is an agent of change. In its presence, little remains the same as it once was. While many have feared magic because of this, change is neither inherently good or inherently evil. It simply is and is inevitable. However, few creatures are capable of comprehending the nature of something so vast and powerful. Many have ascribed rules and properties to magic in an attempt to make it easier to understand. In doing so, they often limit magic's vast potential and miss its gravest dangers. Magic users in the past. The elves have long believed that they were the first creatures made entirely of magic, but that is untrue. While the elves now call the old gods created them from the light, the Fae long predate the elves, having come into being when magic first filled every corner of the world. The long-lived Fae sprang from the magic of nature itself, to protect and cultivate all things in harmony with the elemental forces, the very essence of change, the eternal dance from life to death and back again. Magic is an innate part of them, as easy and necessary as breathing. The Faes arose in a land far from the elves, old gods, and their people, and as such we do not know who came first or why. The same can be said of the dwarves who wandered above and beneath the red sands, while the Fae strode among the trees. Dwarves view magic as a tool, vital, endless, useful, but dangerous if misused. Their aptitude for restorative magic is second to none, and there was a time when all the races would come to visit the great dwarven temples of healing, even the so-called old gods themselves. Before the elves named them the old gods, they were but 6 leaders of their ancient race, each in charge of one aspect of their civilization's existence. They knew the great destructive magic could wreck it all if it was left wild and untamed, but knowing the dangers is not the same as preventing them. Magic users in the present. Literally every society holds magic up in high regards, but they pay respects for it in different ways. The elves' relationship to the force of their creation is perhaps the most straightforward. They venerate and worship the light while vilifying shadow at every turn. They consider the slow depletion of their life force a necessary part of their practice, a tribute to the gods who shaped them from light itself. Most humans view magic with great unease, perhaps because they are intimately aware of the effects of light magic on their much shorter lives. Or perhaps because they were only provincial farmers when the elves entered the Great War with a display of light magic so powerful that it destroyed everything in its path, from sea to forest to mountain. Humans believe mages are inherently dangerous, blessed by the light with powers that they must dedicate to its protection or they will inevitably descend into evil. Some may say that the magic isn't common among the orcs, but there is an orc saying, "Where the wind only comes when called." That suggests that all orcs have some magic affinity, not just in the sense of light worshippers would understand. Among their own people, the orcs have found outsiders that would call the mages are simply believed to be skilled at conversing with their sacred forces, the ocean, skies, winds, and moon. For the ancient Fae, the orcs believe that no magic can occur without the element's permission. I agree with that one, actually. Magic properties and dangers. What can be done with magic often comes down to the imagination of the person wielding it. Magic allows one to control and manipulate the elements of the world that already exist, as well as create and destroy elements of their own, conjuring these forces from nothing to heal or destroy. Creation was a focus of many ancient magic users, being used to be able to breathe life into something entirely new. The elves were made in such a way, but they were not the only beings made by their old gods. Old gods and those who worship them believe magic is inherently dangerous, for it can take your life or force or corrupt your mind, but it was not always so. There was a time when all magic was in harmony, when it was used as simple and everyday as tilling a field or cooking a meal. There were no ill effects, no drain of life force due to the use of the light or slow rot of mind and body brought on by a surplus of shadow, for light is nothing without darkness, and the balance is the natural order of things. It's believed that some cataclysmic fracture that the nature of magic, causing the negative effects. This imbalance grows moment by moment, year by year, tearing this broken reality further and further apart. The chasm widens, and those who know such things fear that, in time, it will swallow all of magic's sacred creations whole. And nothing else. Deep breaths. Why am I missing the middle up top? Have we already missed that one, or what? Someone let me know in the comment section. I'm pretty sure I've picked every diamond choice, I'm just saying. Aha! Victory! You turn to find the mammoth door swinging open. I just had to pair each rune with an opposite according to the Bandover's treatise on magic, and then press on one that remained. I have no idea what anything you just said means. For the record, neither do the rest of us. But it is very impressive that you know such text by heart, Cherta. Cherta grins at you as she steps through the doors, leading you deeper into the crypts. After weaving through a series of dark hallways, you finally come to a room where Cherta holds up a hand to stop all of you. Also, I'm starting to not trust Cherta. Here's where we need to start being careful. This is where they lay to rest most famous of our people. Why is Celine Dion gonna break out in song and dance, and then Mariah Carey's gonna start Christmas song? Oh, it's that time of year, isn't it? So should expect traps? So many traps. Well, then let me take a look. Cherta, you can scan the right side of the room, I'll take the left. You peer into the darkness, noting where some pieces of stone seem slightly raised from the ground. There are pressure plates ahead. What do you think sets it off? Pressure plates? Pressure, wait. You look from the pressure plates over to the wall, where a perfectly circular hole sits nestled in between the stones you pointed out to the group. Too big for a simple arrow. Probably a spring-loaded spear was avoided, and any others that look like it. You creep forward, descending into the flight of stairs and turning into another corridor, this one full of strange glowing crystals. These crystals are emitting magic I've never felt before. Another trap, I suspect, likely triggered by anyone passing by who doesn't know how to disable them. Do you think you can disarm them, Mal? Magic's not really my specialty, but a trap's a trap. Or we just set it off intentionally so we can keep moving. Disarm the trap myself. Have Mal disarm. Okay, Mal, I'll give it a shot. Mal moves carefully into place beside the crystal, pulls out his tools, but frowns as he studies the trap. There's gotta be some way I can break this without setting it off. Aha! He grabs a chisel and presses it against the face of the crystal, dragging it down and through the runes carved on the outside. As the scratches cut through the design, the glow from the crystal fades, any trace of magic gone. I guess I have learned a few things from the mages. So basically, just break the magic seal. Got it. I knew you could do it. Pushing on, you begin to hear the quiet scraping of nails on the stone along the eerie groans. Poor undead. Gods forbid anything is easy. You step inside a stunningly large chamber of dark sandstone mausoleums, a brilliant golden amulet on a pedestal in the center of the room. But all around, the ancients are struggling to free themselves from the stone tomb swarming towards the pedestal. I wonder if this is the light amulet's doing. Oh, man, I'm ahead of the game, everyone. Light magic cannot raise the dead, Nia. Light magic is meant to heal. If that amulet is truly powerful, it might be healing the dead. All the more reason to get this thing out of the crypts. The question is how. You all look to Cherta. Don't look at me. I'm actually an academic, adventure by necessity. I'll burn a path through them, see how they like acid. Yeah, no, I feel like acid would just slow us down, because, you know, acid remains. Allow me. You hear the magic fire between your palms, then hurl the fireball towards the gathering undead. The flames catch the creature's shrouds and rags as they scatter the horrific shrieks as their bodies go up in flames. You rush through the room and up to the pedestal, burning more ancients as you go. Couldn't have done this earlier, we literally had to have Mal bring down the ceiling. Light amulet. Got it. Another row of ancients appear. They pour in around you, emerging in and around each and every tomb. A sea of desiccated flesh and gnashing yellow teeth. There's more than a few hundred, Cherta. A lot of people die, okay? I can't keep track of them all. Rain, get out of there. You turn tail and run for your friends, but more ancients stream into the room from every side, tearing at your clothing and dragging you back. Notora draws her axe, growling. I'm coming. No, then we'll both be stuck. You punch one of the creatures so hard its jaw tumbles to the floor, but it quickly swallowed up by the horde. Cherta claps her hands together and a wave of wind crashes into you, lifting the ancients off their feet. Rain, hurry! Almost there. Why couldn't you have just turned, I don't know, translucent and went through them? Or ethereal, may I say. As you charge, you slam into a creature. It falls backward, and the compatriots leaving the smallest gap in a murderous crowd. You spring towards the opening, gritting your teeth as you crash into the floor at your friend's feet. Time to go! You scramble to your feet and dash down one hallway and then another, until you're finally back at the giant rune-covered doors where Cherta slammed shut behind you. Feels like we should put a sign out or something. Dead guys do not open. Tyrell gently brushes his knuckles along the back of your cheek. That was rather close. I'm relieved you're safe. You lean against the door, panting for breath, and Cherta snatches the amulet from your fingers. You're welcome? Sorry, I've been trying to get this for so long, and now I finally have it. Which means we can finally get out of here. Once you're safely outside the crypts, Cherta leads you back into Zaradun, keeping the alleys and out of sight. Okay, so there's still a few more things I need before I can heal my grandmother. We literally just got you an amulet, but okay. What sort of things? Items for the ritual, Avalon Sandstone, Sagebrush, you know. It'll be faster if I get them on my own than meet you at the temple, but, do try to keep a low profile, and all, on account of our recent prison break and your, well, you know, height. How do we know you'll even come back? You've already gotten what you wanted. Why don't you answer some of our questions first? I don't have time, I swear. Once my grandmother is better, I will do whatever I can to help you. surely our mission can wait another hour or two? What do you think, Rain? I think we can trust her. No, we can't, but okay. She explained the amulet and has been honest with us since then. That we know of, this grandmother could be a ploy to manipulate us. She's not. We know she's not, Cherda. Go get her whatever you need. Look, if you're all worried about me running off, why don't you come with me, Rain? I know you didn't get to see much of the city. I can show you around, answer any questions you've got about us dwarves. Ugh, fine. I swear to God, if there's not an option to ask why the women grow beards and the guys don't have them, from what I've seen, then I'm upset with this diamond choice. Serious? I must know. This is something I'm actually curious about. Great, then let's get going. After saying goodbye to the rest of your friends, sure to lead you carefully through the streets and towards the market. So, tell me about Zaradun. Well, it used to be above ground, a flourishing metropolis, they called it. That was before my time, but then they sank it under the sand, and well, here we are. Were you hiding, weren't you, from the Temple of Light? Yes. I know your elf friend seems to think they couldn't ever do anything wrong, but they did, Rain. Why'd they come after you in the first place? I know I promised to tell you everything, but there are some rules in our culture that even I won't cross. It's kind of a story that could get a lot of people in trouble. You know that sounds super suspicious, right? I do. I need to know everything. I know we haven't shared much about what we're doing here, but we're facing a potentially world-ending war. Secrets could be a luxury we can't afford. If we change who we are, when we're under the threat, who will we be under the threat is over? Anyway, that was a long time ago. I was born and raised here. I've only seen the sun once or twice. Seriously? Love the moon, though. I pretty much only visit the ruins at night because of that. Not that we're supposed to, obviously, but has there ever stopped me? And how did you like the sun when you saw it? And before it was hot. I didn't. It was awful. Made my eyes sting and my skin hurt. Ah, that'll do it. And you actually enjoy that? In moderation. I much prefer the dark, however. It's nice to take a walk in the sun, but you don't want to stay out too long, or you wind up with a sunburn. Oh, a what now? It's just like anything, Cherta. Too much of it is bad, but not enough is also bad. What happens if you don't get enough sun? Lots of people get sad, lethargic, sleepy. Must be a surface dweller thing. The dark has never made me feel that way. Yeah, you and me both. As you turn a corner, you take a note of a unique way the building seems to be carved into the cave wall itself. I've never seen anywhere like this. I mean, Undermount was underground too, but the style there is totally different. Yeah, I've seen some illuminated scrolls about Valen. The old elven capital? Yep, the Golden City by the Sea. Their architecture is really uniform. Super planned out. We have a different approach. Every building is completed by the people who will be using it. Everyone carves a whole building? You know, as her eyes flitting in the firelight. If you want to build a new shop, you'd better find some people who do work with you, or you'll be carving it all by yourself. I'm guessing it's the same way with homes. Oh, it's an even bigger event when an individual or couple decides to carve out a new section of a cave for their home. Not that I'd really know what all goes into it. I haven't done it yet. Why not? Are you waiting to meet someone special? I don't need a partner to have a place of my own. That's a good way to think about it, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? Good luck finding anyone down here who shares my interests. Pretty much everyone I grew up with is incredibly dull. No more adventurous or other academics running around? Nope. One of a kind. If you're not waiting for someone, what is it then? I want to move out of the city proper, that's all. Why would you have to? We started building around a central location. Everything spreads out from there. We call it a subterranean sprawl. The elders want us to dig deeper into the caverns, but it's a lot of work for a serious commute. My family was around back when we first moved underground, so our home is a prime spot, close to everything. You finally reach the marketplace where Turta snatches up a couple of shawls so you can hide your face as, "Hey, psst, how do you hide your height?" Wouldn't do to get arrested again when we're so close, would it? Well, it's not exactly going to disguise my height. There are short humans, right? Not often that short, but yes. Well, they're tall dwarves, takes all kinds. She moves from stall to stall, buying dried herbs, strange stones, vials of liquid you can't identify by sight. Your grandmother must mean a lot to you if you're willing to go this far to help her. She taught me everything I know about magic. You should have seen her when I made my first automation. Oh, it was a wee thing, barely bigger than a doll, but she cooked my favorite stew to celebrate. She was so proud. After a brief moment of hesitation, you place your hand on her shoulder. Is that what your grandmother did? Make machinery? No, pretty much all dwarves are artificers to some degree. She's an enchanter. She imbues weapons, jewelry, and other things with magic. Once a gentleman paid her to enchant his hat so that it would never come off his head. Must have been a bald spot. I used to want to follow in her footsteps, but I've come to realize I vastly prefer studying magic over practicing it. I don't know, you seem pretty good with it. You sound like my brother, Cade. He's fascinated by knowledge, thinks the Royal Archives are the biggest adventure there is. I can't be cooped up like that. I need to be outside. You can't read books outside. You know what I mean. Moving, traveling, seeing everything the world has to offer, and actually experiencing it? I don't know. Sure sounds like learning to me. You're missing the point. An item on a sideboard at one of the stalls catches your eye. It's a bright red gem, strung on a cord and secured with gold wire, and it glows. What's that? It's a Zaradun specialty, a dwarven ember. It's pretty. It makes a fire that can be doused by normal means. You can't smother or quench it. It would even burn underwater. That'd be pretty handy in a fight, or if you got caught in the rain. In the what? When water falls from the sky. It does that! Yeah, you need to go on an adventure yourself. Sometimes. Okay, hate that. How do you put the ember out? With magic, of course, but only the magic of the person who lit it will work. What if they don't have magic? Who doesn't have magic? Wait, is that why MT are so obsessed with their axes? I mean, there are a few reasons, yes, kinda. Mal's not a mage either. Really? But he's so showy. With a shake of her hair, she buys the dwarven ember and tosses it to you. Here, as a thanks for helping me track down the amulet, you have no idea how much this means to me. You got the dwarven ember. I was happy to help. Now that that's the last of the ingredients, we should get back to your friends. So basically, you're telling me we could take the dwarven ember and light a fire, and it's never out, so you can, in a way, can have endless torches. Just saying. Despite the words, she doesn't move. Instead, she twists her hands together nervously. Hey, are you okay? Yes. I mean, no. I've been working on this plan for so long, and I'm finally about to do it, only... What is it if it doesn't work? What if it was all for nothing? Well, then you'll try again. I will? I've seen how determined you are to save her, Turta. You won't let anything stand in your way, including failure. I can't fail. There's no time. Well, then we'll make some. We'll find a way, Turta. We won't desert you. Except she's already in a desert. But thank you, Rain. It feels good not to be alone. Pat her shoulder with an encouraging smile. Now, come on, let's go save your grandma. A deep-throated chant echoes around you as you all step into the temple. Churta's grandmother lays on a soft bed surrounded by family. She looks really sick. She also looks really old. Not for long. Beside you, Nia gasps. Tyrell, are they? What? What's wrong? They're using their own life force to sustain her. You look over the rest of Church's family, but all you see is each of them has their eyes shut in concentration. But how can you tell? I don't see anything. It's like the magic Churta was doing. You can't see it, but you can feel it in the air. If they keep at it like that, they'll lose years off their lives, even decades. What are you talking about? Churta eyes the three of you with irritation, then shakes her head. Never mind, it doesn't matter. The amulet will heal her, and then she won't need constant tending anymore. What, I'm sorry, you've been doing this constantly? So you've been sustaining your grandmother with your own life force. Okay. Everything will be fine. Churta approaches her grandmother, kneeling down beside her and stroking her forehead. It's me, Grandma. I came to help you. Churta. Don't worry, it won't be long now. Quickly, she lays the amulet on her grandmother's chest, placing the other object she's brought around the old woman's head and shoulders. Lukman Restin Aktum Fordin Tusian. At first, nothing. Then the amulet begins to glow. Churta's grandmother stirs. She opens her eyes, the color returning to her face. Churta, is that you? I'm right here. I've got you. Is it working? Yes, she's absorbing the light magic from the amulet. She's absorbing a lot of it. Your heart begins to pound, and you find your body tensing up. Everything all right, Kit? I think something's wrong. Watching Churta's grandmother, you see the light blazing inside of her bright. Far too bright. There's too much magic for any one person to... Your words are cut off by a gurgling sound from the old woman. The sound of something inside her tearing free. Oh, this is gonna get bad, isn't it? Her eyes roll back in her head and her entire body begins to grow, twist, to mutate. Oh lord, what the actual f*** is that? Oh my god! Gasps and cries rise from the rest of Churta's family, and they take off running, but Churta resists their attempts to pull her away. Grandmother, no, this isn't right, I don't understand. Well, remember in that lore tablet when we read there was good and evil, but, you know, yeah, no, too much good is a bad thing. The six of you are left alone with the thing that used to be Churta's grandmother. It rises from the bed, locks its eyes on you, and lets out a horrific shriek. Grandmother, please! Churta, I don't think that's your grandma anymore. Oh my god. As I say, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description below, links to social media, Discord, and a few links to support me and this channel, this community, this family, and you too can be a part of it. Pretty much, again, if you're enjoying the content, please remember to like and share it. Again, I've asked a few questions during this about, you know, leaving comments down below. Let me know if you got any answers to some of the questions I've asked, but also let me know if you enjoyed or whatnot. With that being said, hopefully I haven't overwhelmed you guys with all the content that I've been uploading lately, and the live streams, and the whole 9 yards. Pretty much, like I've said about over a month or so ago, I'm burning the candle at all ends, right? You know, a star burns brightest before its end. So, yeah. Hopefully, again, hopefully, some of you also turned into the live stream yesterday. I know some of you may not be fans of COD, but yeah, no, go check it out. I think it was really interesting. It's a nice to watch something that's a little story. I know some of you may not be into COD, but you may actually really dig the graphics, the story, and things like that. So give it a try. Worst case is you just watch it and you're like, oh, that was interesting, but I would never pay to actually play that or play the game, period. Worst cases, you're just supporting my content. Aside from that, yeah, no, nothing really else to say about this right now. This is kind of, like I said, pushing through and needing to get a bunch of stuff done. So, catch you all in the next video. Peace.